Hey everybody, I'm here with our good friend Sean Feucht, uh, worship leader, missionary, aspiring politician. Um,
Ah,
how's it going, man? How's everything in Reading? How's your family?
uh,
How's the kids doing?
well, like so many of you out there, we're learning how to be homeschool parents. And shout out to all the teachers out there. We got mad love for you.
Jeez.
um, so yeah, that and it seems like we're making a Costco run like every other day with how much my kids are eating. How
It's
can
crazy
these
how our
human beings?
eating went up, huh?
How can these human beings eat so much? It's fascinating, and they want to snack every 30 minutes, But no, it's been good, man. We're in California. We've been locked down. I think we were the first state to really lock things down.
It's true.
So we've been on lockdown for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, are you guys like lines at Costco, like letting in a certain number of people in and all that stuff?
Yeah, they're doing that. We live in, Northern California, so there's still a little bit of this. It's pretty hiccup here. So there's still a lot of people that, aren't following all the things. People kind of genuinely mistrust the government. So,
Right.
there's a lot of conspiracies. Probably like Maine, I would imagine.
I was gonna say, I think we're probably there's more cars and more activity out than normal. It's just people just don't care. They're just going about their normal business. You know, so it's funny. Everyone's like talking lockdown, but like no one's really locked down.
I
You
know.
know,
I know.
it's
Well,
pretty crazy.
this thing is just it's just all the stores and all that. I mean, it is annoying. It takes a long time to do anything.
It does. I know. So you've been doing these faith rallies, man. I know that, a lot of people are shutting down their travel and stuff, but man, you seem like you've been just as busy as ever. The Burn just did 168 hours of worship online. That was historic.
Very historic.
Tell everyone, I think as Matthew Lilly sent me today, some of the statistics of how many nations and continents and languages that were being sung into. Tell everybody a little bit about what happened with 168 hours.
Yeah, so we wanted to do something really historic that could be a response, and so we kind of chose between Palm Sunday and Easter Sunday, so that 7-day period, and we called it from Hosanna to Hallelujah is the
Come
tagline,
on.
and so we did 168 hours, starting Palm Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern and ending Easter Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We took communion multiple times throughout the hours, and we had, I think, 15 or 16 nations that joined leading worship, multiple languages. We had over 800,000. I think it was 809,000 people.
That's crazy.
On Facebook. Just on Facebook. So it was on Facebook, it was on YouTube, it was on the Burn homepage, and man, it was just like it just went viral. And I think we had always. It's interesting, you and I, we've been on this journey for a long time, and so many others. And I think in our minds, we always thought, the presence of God is going viral around the world, which it is catching fire in different nations. But like this actually truly went viral in the sense of it was on more computer screens. It was more engaged than anything that we've ever done in history. So anyway, so I do feel like it was pretty historic. And I think that, we're finding our feet, like everybody else. And how do we navigate this new terrain? I was on phone calls today with friends of mine hosting stadium events this fall, and it's looking like even pushing things back from spring to the fall, that they might have to really even push it back into next year. So
Wow.
it's just a unique time.
Yeah, it is unique, but man, 800,000 views for 168 hours of worship. I mean, that is unreal.
809,000. I don't know if it's views. I think it's engagement. I don't know how many views. I'm sure that means that there are several 100,000 views, but just in terms of the engagement of people, it was just historic.
It's crazy. Now, one of the other things that you've been really busy with is you've been on the phone with the White House. You've been on the phone with politicians. You've been kind of keeping your ear to the ground on what's
Yeah.
happening on the political level, but you've also been talking to a lot of mothers and fathers in the faith. And I think we're at this weird moment, right? Like I kind of felt this like surging of excitement in the first couple of weeks of quarantine where people were like, wow, Christianity as we know it's going to be different. And everyone had something to say, and there's kind of this like excitement. We're kind of getting to that point now where it's like, okay, ready for this to be over, And what do you feel like in this moment? I think we were all excited to hear what the Lord was doing a few weeks ago. And now we're kind of like, all right, Lord, we're ready for the season to be over. What do you feel like the Lord is doing right now in the church? What do you feel like from what you're sensing from the Lord yourself, what you're sensing from other spiritual fathers and mothers in the faith? Like, what do you feel like God is doing in this season, and what does it mean for the days to come?
Well, I think it's interesting. We've for so many years we've talked about the church isn't just a building, and we got to get out of the four walls. And I kind of feel like at this point we can say the church has left the building.
Yeah.
And if there was any doubt in people's minds around the world or in the faith, or if the church could survive without our buildings and our lights and our productions and our whatever, if there was any doubt, I feel like we've answered that, right?
Yeah.
People are, most of my friends, I was on a call last night with some other friends of mine that are church planners, and most of them are saying that they're actually getting more engagement, and they're actually,
right.
People are really faithful with their giving, and people are being intentional. So in one sense, I feel like, we can preach all the sermons we want, and we can speak all the stuff we want, but, it comes down to moments like this to where we see what we're made of. And I feel like we can finally answer that question. The church has left the building. All of these, all of the church buildings are empty. No programs are happening. None of this stuff that we're normally used to. So now it's time for us to, in other words, showcase to the world what the church really means. And I feel like that there's an opportunity for us to grow in depth, not only in our personal lives and intimacy with the Lord, but to grow in depth in community. It's so interesting.
Right.
Like, I'm having conversations with people, FaceTiming and Zooms and different things that I would have never had if life has been
totally.
We're asking deep questions. We're thinking at night. There's no sport on, for crying out loud. There's no TV shows on. There's it's kind of like we're all forced into this position to find out, what are we doing with our lives? What are we really made of? Is our faith actually active? And to be honest with you, I feel like these seasons are a blessing. And I'm saying that as one that leads multiple nonprofit organizations and businesses, and I don't know how it's going to work in the coming days. I don't know how we're going to function. My travel has been cut to nothing, and so I'm not sharing that, saying that I'm not affected by this. I want people to hear that. I'm not saying this, and I'm not, saying it without the repercussions that are affecting my own family. But I'm saying, what if God, even though he doesn't offer this kind of thing, right? The enemy's job description is still kill and destroy. So this coronavirus fits that, right? So it's not the job description of God to author something like this, but God will use this. And even the kindness of God in his judgments, like, I feel like my life is being laid bare before the Lord, and I feel the kindness of God coming and revealing in my life, in my marriage, in my family, in the interaction with my kids. Like, where are the cracks, right? Where are the things? And me and my wife have been having conversations we haven't had in years. Me and my kids, so I feel like what the Lord is doing, if we're willing to push past the fear narrative and the panic narrative, and if we don't wake up every single day with these waves that hit us of uncertainty, if we just anchor ourselves in the Lord, we can then really look at our life and be like, God, what do you want to do in me through this season? You know,
Right.
it says that Jesus came out of the wilderness, came out of the desert season. He came out empowered. He came out full of the Spirit. The verse in Song of Songs, coming out of the wilderness, leaning on my beloved. That's what I want in this season for my life.
Right.
That's what I want for my family.
Yeah.
We come out of the wilderness. Things are going to turn around. The economy will get up and going. Life may be different for quite a while, but what if we come out of this season leaning on our beloved? And I just feel that invitation from the Lord.
Yeah, it's really interesting, right? Like, this is really a season where we get to own it. You know, like, I've been talking, our whole team has been talking about this. It's like, if we want to make the season count, it's like, it's pretty rare in our life that we will ever have a moment where our whole world is forced to shut down and we are given the opportunity to recalibrate.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and so many people have so many crutches on Christianity and church, you know, like worship and prayer and Bible reading. They get their cup filled and they don't even realize all week long that they're living at a deficit because they're running off of the fumes of last Sunday. And this is like, but people will complain about, oh, I don't have enough time to read my Bible. I don't have enough time to pray. I don't have enough time to worship. I don't have enough time with my family. And now all they have is time, you know? And if we can't like recalibrate and establish this like deep intimacy with the Lord that will change our lives forever, you know, then there's gonna, you know, it's kind of like a shaking thing. It's like a come to Jesus moment for so many, you know, I think. And you're so right. It's going to change our lives forever. And I think we kind of get the option to choose in which ways it's going to change it, you know?
I really feel like if we'll allow this, like, I think sometimes the reaction from us, just to be real vulnerable as Western believers, is to kind of slap a refrigerator Bible verse on everything, right?
Right.
And
Sure.
and I think that we saw that in the initial beginning, you know, the refrigerator magnet Bible verses. But what I want to encourage people out there to do is allow this season to reveal, to expose the voids.
Yeah.
Allow the kindness of God to remove, to strip away, and to you know, it's David talks about my soul being laid bare. Like, allow God to come and reveal in your life the voids that you have, you know. And maybe it was busyness, or maybe it was work, or maybe it was whatever kept you preoccupied. Like, you know, unplug from Netflix. Don't look back at this season and see that your whole time that you could have grown in character and depth and as a husband and a father and a mom or whatever. Don't let anything steal this moment, because it really is a divine time for us, you know. And I feel like it's okay. It's okay for us to engage in the wrestle, you know, and for us to, like you're saying, like the motives of our heart are kind of laid bare. And I think that, you know, that this presents an incredible opportunity for us to grow as people, to grow as the church. I think the church is going to come out of this stronger, with greater depth and authority than we ever have. I mean, I was texting my neighbor, you know, Eric Johnson, who's our senior pastor here at Bethel, and I was texting him last night. I was like, dude, because I'm on deck to lead worship this weekend, and I was thinking, I was asking him, I was like, dude, what are our services going to be like when we finally get together? I mean, it is going to be so explosive. I don't know if we're going to get through a song.
No,
you know,
it's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts.
I mean, it is going to be outrageous. Can you imagine, like, our gathering this fall that we're going to have? Like, I mean, it's going to be unprecedented, you know, because we're realizing the power of community. And not only that, but we're all going to come back carrying a different depth and maturity and authority coming through this.
Yeah. So I know you got to go. You got another meeting to get to. But before you go, I know you've been on the phone with a lot of people. You kind of, like I said before, you got your ear to the ground. What do you think emerging out of the season? Like, what do you think it's going to look like timeline-wise? What do you think is going to happen here? I know I just got a text message. Our governor was extending the emergency proclamation until mid-May. You know, what's your idea of how this thing is going to go. Are we gonna be getting out of this thing early May, or are we gonna be probably here till June? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think, from the calls that I have with the White House and the briefings that I've heard from the president, the vice president, the Burks, who's the doctor, in all the press conferences.
Right.
I feel like they're doing their best to enable the economy to. It's just this tension between, we have to get things back and going again, and like they're
Right.
saying, the cure can't be worse than the problem. But the thing that I think about is in people's mindsets. When are they going to feel like it's okay to gather? And so I think that,
Right.
by June, I feel like we're going to be back into working, and I feel like that's what's going to happen by June, I would say. But I don't know at what point, these gatherings will be, people will feel safe. I think that's the bigger thing. We've never really had a term called social distancing. It's kind of a made up term now. And it's a psychological thing,
Right.
I hate it. I hate, I like
No.
people, I like
Right.
being around, and I hate standing in line. It's just, standing in line 10 feet, like people, like every single person has the plague, and you're looking around and wondering who's touching their face. I mean,
Right.
it's like, so I think there's a massive psychological thing that people are going to be dealing with. And so I'm hoping that by this fall, like that we're back roaring again, and that the church carries authority. I want to see people getting healed of this, but I think we'll probably have a small relapse of virus in the fall, and it'll be a cycle, and they're working day and night to come up with a vaccine. So hopefully that's going to come, early spring next year, I think is the earliest they're looking for. But we got to shine in this time, however long it takes.
All right. Well, Tenacious Love 2020, September. It's going to be explosive, man.
That is a marker for me, man. I cannot wait. It's going to be epic.
It's going to be amazing, man. All right. Sean, thanks for your precious time, man. We love and appreciate you.
All right. Love you guys. I love you guys up there. I can't wait to be with you. And, man, just stay strong. We need the Maine fire.
Come on. All right. Thanks, man. Talk to you later.